Right, Sarah here. So here is just another tax update that I originally wanted to share back in January. I had originally promised 3 updates in January, but time has just flown by and we're now February 21st. And so sharing this update, be it January part 3 or really just the February tax update, but the timing wise works out quite well because the BC provincial budget was just released, so I'm able to share both perspectives. The goal with this newsletter was really just to share these budget updates, the federal budget from November, and of course, then the BC from February. So just highlighting some key things that I think are worth monitoring. If any of these interest you or you think may impact you, then of course reach out. But from a federal perspective, and again, I like to include little links here if any of these interest you. Uh, Obviously, one of the big promises from our recent election last year was the reduction to that first federal tax bracket, so from 15% to 14%. Mind you, we didn't get this federal budget until November for 2025. So I'll repeat, the 2025 federal budget wasn't released until November of 2025. So with that said, a lot of these proposals remain proposed. We're still waiting for them to pass into law, for them to receive royal assent. So the first one being that highly anticipated reduction from 15% to 14% for that federal tax bracket, which really impacts everyone. Now, with that said, it has not yet passed into law, but for many practitioners, even CRA has taken the position to use the average of 14.5%. So that's probably what you'll see on your personal tax return. And so if you're curious about that, that's likely why. Most likely this will pass, but just it's a timing. Maybe it will pass in time, maybe not. The next one being the official elimination of the horrendous UHT, one of the most poorly written, I would say, in recent years. So hopefully with this proposal and the approval of this budget, the elimination of this UHT, and official clarification on bare trust rules. So CRA actually has done a much better job in recent years to take their position on the tax year, so not waiting until the last absolute minute, days before filing. So for 2025, they've already communicated, as with previous years, that they do not expect bare trust, so T3 filing, unless requested. So that at least is a little bit of a sigh of relief, but hopefully even more clarification on what they define in the upcoming months. Another really highly anticipated proposal from the recent election last year was the personal support worker tax credit. And unfortunately, this will not impact individuals, BC residents, but it may impact others. And this, of course, is supporting those who are working in the field, providing a little bit more tax relief. Other piece of information we're just waiting on. This one will maybe interest a lot of businesses. In recent years, there have been just so many policy changes here in terms of certain capital assets, the depreciation for tax purposes that we can take on them. And so for a short period of time, we had that lovely 100% immediate expensing, so really writing off. And so they're actually reintroducing this sort of super deduction. I think the link I shared with you is from BDO, actually. I like the article that they have on this. So this is actually really, really exciting for those who are in business, who are purchasing assets that the government believes will be productive, that will help stimulate our economy. So this one's really interesting to monitor because this could possibly be an immediate write-off on buildings, which I don't think we've seen. So this will be really interesting to see if and when passed. But for other select assets, so there hopefully will be a reintroduction of the ACCII. Some are labeling it as sort of the RII, because we did have, and we still have ACCII for the last few years and up until maybe I think 2027, if I remember correctly. But what we're looking for here is enhancement. So extra deductions that we can take for these capital assets. So many like to say, right, elbows up. And so other things we're looking for, enhancements to the shred process, I would say. Again, the shred is designed to incentivize entrepreneurs, businesses to really invest and innovate. But one of the unfortunate circumstances is that it's just been always a big headache to maneuver through this. So hopefully with some simplicity or enhancements or better instructions, less red tape, therefore more access to these abatements and support that is being offered. Okay, the next one at first sounded interesting, maybe not so much. Anyways, more clarification on what we're permitted to hold within these registered investment accounts. So just better clarity, I think, for some. And the last one I have here, which might be very exciting for some, but I don't know how excited you would feel. It's really just, in my opinion, marketing. Just proposed a temporary increase to the GST HST credit that, of course, everyone is familiar with, relabeled as this Canada Groceries and Essential rebate. But for some, right, eligible individuals could receive up to $950 tax-free. I'm jumping over to BC, so the lovely province of BC. We had our recent budget announced, and the highlights I wanted to just share. The first being, again, the tax bracket. This is a tax newsletter, a tax update. And so very contrary to what the federal government communicated, the BC government is trying to increase, okay? So increasing that first tax bracket from 5.06 to 5.6, which doesn't feel like a lot. I mean, that's going to be about $76 for the average single taxpayer. But I think what's more concerning is their proposal to freeze the tax bracket indexing. So the tax bracket typically changes and increases year over year in relation to the indexing. So their move to freeze that actually is I think far more punitive than this jump over here. And so I just think that's very tone deaf, in my honest opinion, given current circumstances with many families. To freeze that. So really making it challenging to combat inflation, as it already is challenging. I think this one is what is kicking up a lot of noise. And obviously as an accounting professional, this of course is hitting very close to home, and I've already signed the petitions. But here, proposed enhancements, expansion to the provincial sales tax. So here in BC, we of course are a GST, PST province. We're not harmonized. And so this move to really increase the PST criteria to impact professional services such as accounting, bookkeeping, engineering, rental property, strata management, non-residential real estate commission, and among other things. And so I think the approach that's saying is that they want to align BC with other provinces that are doing this already. I don't think that's the strongest argument. We are not an HST province, so for many businesses, this will not be recoverable, right? So PST is not a recoverable sales tax. And for others, like to increase the cost of essential services, I think, again, is very tone deaf. And pairing this with other proposals, such as removing exemptions to clothing or shoe repairs or basic cable services, and et cetera, just, again, only adds to the financial pressure that many of us are already feeling. And again, just feels or felt very tone deaf. So that is quite unfortunate. And we'll see with the petitions if there's any movement there. The next one being the update on the $10 per day childcare program. So this was a very big promise many, many years ago. And yes, some few have been rolled out and many families have been benefiting from it. But if you've been monitoring this, I think it's been a little underwhelming. The promises or the scale has not been promised. So with this recent February BC update, this is met with mixed emotions, I think, because some felt relief, as in there were no cuts, but also not a celebration because they have communicated a pause on introducing any new providers. So I know for many families, this is met with very mixed emotions, but ultimately just, again, promises not really being aligned. I think for some, they are very interested to monitor and see more and more taxes being introduced. So for the BC speculation and vacancy tax, if you're impacted by that, jumping from 3% to 4%, additional school taxes on the properties for properties in excess of 3 million. And if anyone is electing for the deferment of these property tax payment, they are looking to revamp their interest charges from a simple to compounding structure. So just more and more cost, I would say. But with that said, trying to be a little bit more positive, offsetting this with, some good news in terms of additional funding that hopefully we can look forward to for areas that require the support. And for us here, just again, monitoring from a tax perspective, some proposed refundable tax credits. Again, you can see the tone here, right? They are trying to, both on a federal and provincial level, communicate encouragement for manufacturing and processing, right? Elbows up, building that economy. So then, in any case, what's next with any proposed legislation? As you're likely familiar with already, none of the above is actually passed into law just yet. On a federal level, we are a liberal minority government, so they might need some time convincing and building their case. Provincially, we are a NDP majority, so likely maybe the above will all pass, unless again you make your voices communicated. You reach out to your local MP if any of these are really going to impact you in a certain way. You want to voice your opinion. But in any case, this will be interesting to monitor in the upcoming months. And as always, if any of these you think may impact you, especially from a tax perspective, it's always recommended to reach out to your advisor sooner than later, and just get a better understanding or seeing if there's any impact to you, if that would change anything that you would do or may or may not. Okay, so that is the quick update for today, and really just an official kickoff to personal tax season. So with corporate tax season winding down, this of course is bringing personal tax season to the forefront with the T4, T5, T4A deadlines also quickly approaching. Then many individuals are receiving these slips and can get started on their personal tax season. And so for us at SCL, we have various resources that we like to share. Even if you're not working with us, we always like to share these resources. You're welcome to use them just to have hopefully a more successful and less stressful time preparing your tax compliance for this upcoming season. All right, thank you.